Morning Abotai, with Yom Kippur just a few days away, it's important to realize that Yom Kippur is the only Torah mandated fast day of the year. And because of that, everybody is obligated to fast. Men and women over the age of Bar Bat Mitzvah. There's even, it's a little bit broader than this, but there's even a din of chinuch with regards to being mechanech children, with regards to fasting, even under Bar Bat Mitzvah for Yom Kippur. Maybe we'll speak about that separately. But the only exception to those who have to fast on Yom Kippur are obviously those who are ill. Those who are ill, if it's mamash pikuach nefesh and a person's not feeling well right now, then a person has to eat and drink as usual, because as the Torah says, v'chai b'hem v'lo she'yamut b'hem, a person has to live by the laws of the Torah and not die by them. However, in general, that's not the case. Even people who are ill and in consultation with their doctor and a competent posek, they come to the conclusion that a person has to eat and drink over Yom Kippur. In general, it's not so acute that a person has to eat and drink as usual. It's enough to do it incrementally, which means doing small portions throughout a prolonged amount of time. If a person gets to that situation, it's best to eat no more than 30 grams of food, bread, maybe with some sort of topping, 30 grams of that, and 40 grams of liquid, which is approximately an ounce, maybe a drop more, every 10 minutes or so, in which case, these achilot and shtiyot, the eatings and drinkings, don't combine to something that would chalila be a chiyuv karet. In general, that is enough for most patients who are sick. That's why a person who's sick and already asked the sheila, spoke to his doctor, spoke to his rav, and came to the conclusion that he needs to eat and drink over Yom Kippur, you have to prepare that. You have to take a scale and weigh the food, 30 grams of bread, whatever it is, you break it up into pieces. You have a shot glass. They make 1 ounce shot glasses. You fill that up with liquid, and you have one of those portions every 10 minutes. Food and beverage are not mitzdarif. Food and food is mitzdarif. They join together. Liquids and liquids are also mitzdarif, but food and liquid are not mitzdarif with one another. Maran Zechron Bracha, when he was the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, he used to spend Erev Yom Kippur, the precious hours of Erev Yom Kippur, he used to go visit the hospital, he used to go visit Bet HaCholim Tel HaShomer, Ichilov, and he used to visit, do Bikur Cholim, and at the same time, he would convince patients who needed to eat on Yom Kippur, the frum patients, he would convince them that you have to eat based on what the doctors tell you. And those who they think they're big tzaddikim, not eating when the doctor and the Rav tell them, he would quote the words of the Elbaz and say that a person who thinks that he's machmir and he's going to put his full faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that nothing's going to happen, the Elbaz writes in the Tshuva, that's a chasid shoteh, that is a pious fool. Why? The Torah says that Torah gives permission to doctors to heal, and we take their opinions into consideration when it comes to things of this nature. Now, that's with regards to eating and drinking. A person who thinks that he might be in this category should use these days. Call your doctor. Ask him what your situation is. Speak to your Rav. Have a consultation between all of them to know where it is that you stand, not just off the cuff. Also, another Isur on Yom Kippur is bathing. Any kind of bathing, any kind of pleasurable washing or bathing on Yom Kippur is asur. And the Gemara even says, even a person who puts his etzba ktana, even if a person dips his pinky into water in order to cool off, that is asur on Yom Kippur. Now, that is only, like we said, when it's a pleasurable washing. If it's being done in order to wash off zuhama, in order to wash off some sort of filth, or if a person is soiled locally, a person's able to wash that off. For this reason, the halacha is that on the morning of Yom Kippur, when we do netilat yadayim, you can only do netilat yadayim until your knuckles. Very much like Tisha B'Av. If a person used the restroom and his hands became soiled, you're allowed to wash that soiled area besides for the netilat yadayim that you do. Now, on the morning of Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to wash your face. That's part of the Rechitza. You're not allowed to wash your face on the morning of Yom Kippur. Even, now, really in general, if you have stuff in your eyes, let's say you have all sorts of residue in your eyes when you wake up, if it's bothering you, you can take the leftover water from when you do Netilat Yadayim, run it over your eyes, and that's it. If a person is overly finicky, he can't handle not washing his face. Ledat Maran Shulchan Aruch, it's mutar for such a person to wash his face on Yom Kippur. However, Ledat Ashkenazim, the Ramaz Machmir, even for a person who's finicky, he's not allowed to wash his face on Yom Kippur. Also, even those people who are mekel, who are lenient to brush their teeth on any other ta'aniyot, The halacha is on Yom Kippur, it is asur to brush your teeth for anybody, even for a person who's finicky. Over there, it's much more chamur because you're putting liquids into your mouth. It is completely asur to brush your teeth on Yom Kippur. It goes without saying that even those who dip in the mikveh every day, the halacha is that it is asur to dip in the mikveh on Yom Kippur. Both men and women are completely asur. That is isur chitzah. Even for women, there are only 2 nights a year where women's mikvaot are closed, mamash shuttered. That is Leil Tish'a B'Av and Leil Yom Kippurim. Asur, they can't dip. Even Tvilat Mitzvah, even though they're not going to be together, it's still, even the Tvilah itself is going to be asur. Have a wonderful day and Shavua Tov.